Hey everyone, Rachel Gamble here with Macon-Bibb Public Affairs. Just wanting to let you know we are live on Facebook. We are getting the stream set up on Facebook and our website. So we are currently streaming live.
You got it. Hey.
Ow. Hello, commissioners and guests. Just letting you all know we are currently streaming live on Facebook. The meeting starts in about 7 minutes, but we went ahead and got the live stream running. So be aware we are live. To everyone watching on Facebook right now, the meetings will be getting started, like I said, in about 7 or 8 minutes. We've got pre-commission up first and then full commission following that. You can view the agendas in the link of this video. I put a link in the description. And then you can let anyone who doesn't have Facebook know they can watch this meeting at Macon-Bibb.us on our website, Macon-Bibb.us. It will also be live there. Hello again, everyone watching online, and to everyone in the meeting. This is Rachel Gamble with Macon-Bibb Public Affairs. Right now we are testing the audio to make sure that this live stream is working correctly on our website, Macon-Bibb.us. As I said earlier, if people on Facebook can watch live on our Facebook page, it's facebook.com/Macon-Bibb County. And for people who don't have Facebook, let them know they can also watch at Macon-Bibb.us. Our meeting is scheduled to start in about 5 or 6 minutes.
even though it's effective.
Yes. She's trying to get through this stuff with Atlanta.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it. It's not hurting anything. Even if Bobby starts, I mean, I don't think we need to do some grand parade saying we got Bobby on board anyway.
Are we talking to her? Are we talking to them today about it?
Yeah, we're gonna run executive session. So.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me call to order this pre-commission meeting of the Macon-Bibb County Commission for September the 15th. And again, read this preliminary statement. Out of an abundance of caution. I'm sorry.
If everyone could please remember to mute your microphone if you're not speaking. I think we got some cross audio here.
Right. Out of an abundance of caution, the Macon-Bibb County Commission meetings scheduled for Tuesday, September 15th, 2020 at 5 o'clock p.m. and 6 o'clock p.m. will be available to the Macon-Bibb County Commissioners by video conference. The commission chambers will be closed to the public and press in order to slow the spread of COVID-19. Therefore, the public and press may only access the meeting simultaneously online at www.maconbibb.us or www.facebook.com/Macon-Bibb County. With that having been said, I want to be sure that we've got a quorum, so I'll ask the clerk to call the roll. If she'll call you, if you'll unmute yourself and answer verbally so we can confirm we've got a quorum.
Yes, sir. We'll go by districts. Commissioner Valerie Wynn.
Here.
Commissioner Larry Schlesinger.
Here.
Commissioner Elaine Lucas.
Here.
Commissioner Mallory Jones.
Here.
Commissioner Burt Bivens.
Here.
Commissioner Joe Allen,
Here.
Commissioner Scotty Shepherd, Commissioner Virgil Watkins. I see him.
He's here.
Here. Sorry about that.
That's okay. And Mayor Pro Tem Al Tillman. So we have a quorum, Mr. Mayor.
Good. Thank you very much, Janice. I appreciate that. And we actually have a couple of additions that we need to have to this meeting agenda. There is a revision that we need to make to the item O, which is an agreement to appropriate funds to improve the grade crossing on Lower Poplar. That was passed and it appears on item O, but we were advised recently that we need to update that. And so we need to put that on the agenda for pre-commission to consider that amendment. Can I get a motion to add that to our agenda for pre-commission?
So moved.
By Schlesinger and second.
Win, second.
Good by Wynn. All in favor of adding that to the meeting agenda for tonight, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. So we'll talk about that in just a few minutes as item E under new business. We also just want to mention to you that we were notified about a possibility of combining the DBE at Macon Downtown Airport with the DBE for Middle Georgia Regional, which also needs updating, and doing the two together so that they are compatible and also get a better price for doing them. So we want DBE.
DBE
Right.
is
the disadvantaged business enterprise. Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the disadvantaged business enterprise. And so the one for 7,700 is on the agenda tonight, but for approximately the same amount of money, we can do them both and make them compatible for Middle Georgia Regional and Macon Downtown. So I'm being asked by the attorneys to table that item on our agenda for tonight. That's item Q on our 6 o'clock meeting agenda. So if you want to discuss it a little bit more, then let's add it to this agenda and talk about it and get the attorneys to explain it better than I just did. Can I get a motion to add the DBE for Macon Downtown as an agenda item for pre-commission by Schlesinger? Thank you, sir. Second by.
Second.
Good. Thank you, Commissioner Lucas. Motion and second to add that to the agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Okay, the ayes have it. So that'll be item F. I understand, Commissioner Lucas, that you may want to add one more item to
Yes, sir.
this agenda. I'll recognize you at this point then.
Okay, thank you. It's item F under the regular meeting. It's the resolution. I believe I mentioned it last week. Well, I know I did. Concerning support for the Macon-Bibb Board of Elections and identifying new satellite locations and drop boxes, and also designating Sunday, October 25th as a Sunday voting day. And since the Board of Elections is already working on these, and I think Mike Kaplan, who's the chair of the Board of Elections, is here to kind of go over a couple of things, a lot of things that they've been doing. I thought to ask you if we could go ahead and place this on tonight's agenda for action. Go ahead and approve that, since we're approving funding for the Board of Elections and they're already taking action on those items. So
Yeah, I second.
Got a motion and second to add this, which is item P on our 6 o'clock meeting agenda, to add this to the pre-commission agenda to discuss amendments to that as well. So got a motion and a second. All in favor of adding that to this agenda for discussion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. So now we've really got a full agenda for pre-commission meeting. That'll be item G for voting, and we'll get to that shortly. We do have a busy agenda tonight. We do have a consent agenda item to discuss, which is the denial of a beverage license that's been recommended to us, but the owner wanted to call in, and I'm not sure if he's on the call yet.
Yes.
He's not yet.
Yes.
So we'll take that into but his attorney's on the line.
That's
Okay.
correct. This is Wayne
Right.
Kendall on the line for Mr. Partat.
Okay, we'll get to you momentarily, sir. So just stand by. Thank you very much. We've got several items of new business. The resolution about the medical examiner's office here in Macon that has been prepared. An ordinance to do the supplemental budget that's a committee amendment, increasing the amount that we were going to talk about that in pre-commission. An ordinance to temporarily allow the expanded use of county right-of-ways. This was proposed by Mayor Pro Tem Tillman, and there's a change that was requested and agreed to, but Michael wanted to talk to us about that. Then we've got a resolution to execute a Freedom Park amendment because there was some change that legal felt needed to be made on that. So we're going to talk briefly about that. Then we've already talked about the E, F, and G. We do also need to try to save time for an executive session, believe it or not, if we can fit all that in. So having said that, the first thing I wanted to do is to make you commissioners aware of some scheduled events. Amerson River Park, the Clean 13 Award presentation will be this Thursday, September the 17th at 9:00 a.m. We'll be doing it at the Overlook at Amerson River Park if weather permits. If it's raining then, and it may very well be raining 9:00 this Thursday morning with Hurricane Tropical Storm Sally coming through, then we'll meet here at Government Center for a socially distanced and reduced personnel presentation. Also on September the 23rd, which is a week from tomorrow, we're going to be having a demolition down at 225 Fairview Park, 195 Fairview Park and 832 Plumtree Lane. These are the two houses over in East Macon neighborhood that are within the new boundary of the Okmulgee National Monument. So we have previously agreed to demolish any dilapidated structure on properties to be donated to the Department of the Interior. So that's what we'll be doing and starting that on September the 23rd, time to be announced. And River Edge Recovery Center is having their grand opening. Commissioner Bibbins, you are responsible for advocating for this. So I know you'll want to be there October the 1st at 10:00 a.m. out at 3575 Fulton Mill Road. To take a look at this new recovery center and grand opening. Those are announcements that I had. Others are in the works, and as soon as we get times and dates, so we'll make you aware of that. I've asked Michael to give us the briefest kind of update on the governor's executive order. I understand that he has just issued a new executive order. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor. So the governor's current executive order expires today for his 2-week cycle for operating businesses and general operations throughout the state. He just published his replacement order literally 12 minutes ago. So I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I did see that it runs from tomorrow through the end of September, through September 30th. And I'll digest what the changes are. It is about 5 or 6 pages longer than the last one, so I anticipate there are some changes, but I'll update y'all on that once I have a chance to look at it. Also, last Thursday, the 10th, he issued an executive order relating to COVID, which allows for grand jurors to be sworn in remotely and allows for grand jurors to participate in grand jury service remotely. And so that should allow, I know people have been talking about a backlog in the criminal dockets across the state, but that should at least allow the indictment process to begin moving forward for people who are, been charged with offenses but haven't had a chance to be indicted yet because of the grand jury process being frozen. And that goes through the end of the state of emergency, whenever that is currently set to expire October 10th, but whenever that runs out, if it's extended, that'll extend with it automatically. Thank you, Mayor.
Hey, I was curious. What is the status of, and I've been getting the questions of evictions for both, I guess residents and businesses. I know there was a freeze on it. How's that working for us?
That freeze was not part of the governor's executive orders. There was something that was done with respect to federal funding programs like through Fannie Mae and things like that, where they had put a freeze in. But I can look into that for you, but I don't have an answer right now as far as what that's been going, because the governor's order hasn't touched on eviction freezes at all.
Do you know what's happening, or could you provide some detail to what's happening in Bibb County with that?
I spoke to Judge White Colbert about this maybe 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. And she had mentioned that they had, as part of their court reopening process, set, I think it was coming up at the end of September, set the first day when they were going to start having eviction court again. But I don't have the exact date. It was in an email. It's a few weeks old, so I could find it for you and send it to you. But I don't have the exact date off the top of my head.
Please, thank you.
Very good. I've also got Spencer Hawkins, I think, that has called in. I want him to give us a quick update on COVID-19, where the numbers are trending, and also on hurricane or whatever she is, tropical storm Sally, and what we're looking for that. Spencer, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can. Go ahead.
Okay. Been tracking, watching COVID. Thankfully, our numbers are starting to go down. Over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we've dropped from a 7-day case average of about 48.9 to the most recent number that was released today was 27. So that's a great, we're happy to see that, happy to see that things are still moving in the right direction. But one of the things that we're keeping talking about is that we can't stop. We have to continue to wear our masks. We have to continue to wash our hands and socially distance. And so we're going in the right direction, but we're not there yet. Technically it's Hurricane Sally right now. It is getting ready to make landfall right around the Mississippi-Alabama border. What that means for us is once it makes landfall, it's going to make a hard easterly turn. By the time it gets to us, it will be a somewhat moderate depression. And what we're looking at, we had a call today with the National Weather Service, is we can expect some wind, some rain. We're looking at, I'm pulling up my notes now, 2 to 3 inches of rain and approximately 20 to 30 mile an hour gusts. And that's going to start around Wednesday evening and run through Thursday evening, more or less. We've got heavier rains north of us, more higher tornado threats south of us, which means depending on the track shift, if it should shift north or south, that could mean a different response for us. EMA is continuing to monitor the system and work with our emergency management team to make sure that we're ready should anything happen.
Thank you, Spencer. Any commissioner have a question of Spencer?
Follow up, Spencer. You said we expecting to get heavy rains and winds on Thursday, and if so, do we know a time frame?
Yes, sir. We can start to see the impacts Wednesday evening, sometime between probably 6 to 8 or 9 o'clock. And the storm, and we'll be seeing these impacts through Thursday evening. But right now, that's the best forecast that we have from the National Hurricane Center. Depending on what happens with the track and what Sally does, it may change that more or less. We'll continue to monitor the system. But right now, according to Peachtree City Weather, National Weather Service, the impacts we're seeing would be nothing more than we would see from a heavy summer thunderstorm.
Oh, good. I'll keep my fingers crossed. Any other questions or comments from commissioners? Spencer? If not, I'm going to turn this over to Michael at this point to give us a little bit of the background behind this alcohol beverage license for Jaya Food and Gas Incorporated, located at 1803 Pinona Avenue, and to introduce the attorney that wants to speak to us about that this evening. Michael, can you?
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Okay.
Mayor. So y'all may recall, this is the license came before the commission. I believe it was the first meeting in August. This is the store that's located at 1803 Pionono, across the street from the Cirrus Academy at the intersection of Pionono Avenue and Mercer University Drive. And the commission recommended denial on the basis of the license being within 100 yards from the property line to the Cirrus Academy, and based on the fact that there had been a 12-month lapse in the holding of an alcohol license at that location, that the legacy protections under state law no longer applied, and therefore they were not qualified under the distance requirements. We sent out a notice letter to the applicant, Banu Partap, who is not on the call, but his attorney, Mr. Kendall, is. And we sent that letter out on August 17th. The letter was reported by the U.S. Postal Service. It was sent by certified mail, and the tracking records from the Postal Service report that on the 20th, they attempted delivery at the address 1803 Pionono Avenue, that they were unable to make delivery because they did not have access to the building, and that they then successfully completed delivery on August 28th. The 26th of August, Mr. Partap emailed me and said in his email that he had not yet received his notice letter based on the recommendation of denial. And you'll recall that he was on the call at the meeting where the commission recommended denial. So he emailed me on the 26th and said he hadn't received it. And so I emailed him a copy of that letter at that time, and he received it on August 26th. Under our code, when someone is sent a recommendation of denial letter, they have 10 days from the date of receipt to physically have a request for a hearing in hand at the clerk's office. And if they don't do that, then they're deemed to consent to disposition of the matter without further process from the commission. By code, they're deemed to receive the letter 3 days after it's sent, or the day they actually receive the letter, whichever is earlier. So the fact that it was sent on the 17th, they are deemed under our code to have received the letter on the 20th, which is the date that the USPS first attempted delivery at 1803 Pionono Avenue. And then he actually received it on August 26th, is my understanding, is the first time he actually received the letter. So counting 10 days from the 20th, he would have had until August 30th, which was a Sunday, to get his notice in. And so because it was a Sunday, he got until the next day, the 31st, and actually submitted a request for hearing from Mr. Kendall on September 4th. So because he's 4 days overdue on the time to request a hearing, under our code, I'm required to report to you that the request for hearing was untimely, that the applicant is deemed as a matter of law under our code to have consented without further process to the disposition of the case as recommended for denial by the commission. And Mr. Kendall, on behalf of Mr. Partap, has a right to up to 10 minutes to present argument in opposition to that to try and convince you otherwise, but does not have the right to present fact evidence at this time. Mr. Mayor, I think that sets up the situation right now. And but based on the procedures, we're asking the commission to finalize its vote based on the failure to request a timely hearing.
Very good. Mr. Kendall, are you still there, sir?
Yes, I am, Mr. Mayor.
Good. All right, sir. This would be your time to talk to us.
Okay. I represent Mr. Partap, who is the applicant for this beverage license. Mr. Partap did not receive actual notice of the letter that was sent to him by Mr. McNeil until he called Mr. McNeil on August the 26th. On August the 26th, Mr. McNeil emailed Mr. Partap a copy of the letter that is required to be sent when there is a denial of a beverage license. When he received that letter on the 26th, he sent it to me. The statute, or the ordinance rather, the section of the ordinance that is applicable here is the one that deals with a request for a hearing, and that's section 4-405. And it states, the first line states, upon receipt of the statement described in section 4-404 of this chapter, an applicant or licensee shall have 10 days from the date of receipt in which to file a request for hearing with the clerk of the Macon-Bibb County Commission. Mr. Partap received the notice on August the 26th, and he filed his request for a hearing within 10 days of that period of time, and we have an acknowledgement of that from Mr. McNeil and Ms. Ross. The statute also goes on to say that all statements sent in accordance with section 404 shall be deemed received on the earlier of the date of actual receipt or 3 days from the date of sending. Mr. McNeil's letter is dated the 17th of August. It is required to be sent by certified mail under section 4-404, return receipt requested, or by private overnight courier with a signature required upon receipt. Well, Mr. Partap runs a business, Jaya Foods and Gas, which is a business that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I have asked Mr. McNeil to send me the green card showing that the city met the requirement to send this letter certified mail. I have yet to receive a copy of the green card. Mr. McNeil says that it was delivered on the 20th and to the business, and for some strange reason, the postal delivery transmission came back stating that they were unable to gain access to the building. Well, this is a building that's open 24 hours a day. It's a public building, it's a commercial building. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The reason I asked for the green card was to verify that the letter was sent to the correct address. Not seeing the green card. And all we're asking here is for a hearing. Now, if he's not entitled to an alcoholic beverage license under the ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission, then so be it. But we think that he is entitled to a hearing by your ordinances, section 4-405. Now, why he didn't receive it on the 20th is a mystery to me. One possibility is that it was sent to the wrong address or delivered to the wrong address. We can't verify that. We do know that he did file a request for a hearing within 10 days of the date he actually received it, and that's undisputed. He filed a request for the hearing within 10 days of the date he actually received it by email. And then strangely, according to the document I received from Mr. McNeil, the Postal Service acknowledges delivery on the 28th of August. And counting from the 28th of August, the commission was notified of his request for a hearing within 10 days of that date. So he made requests for the hearing within 10 days of the date of his actual receipt, which was by email, and by the delivery date, according to the Postal Service, which was August the 28th. And all he's asking for is a hearing. And there is that provision that says that a notice is deemed received 3 days from the date of sending, regardless of whether or not it is actually received or not. But we've been unable to verify that it was actually sent by certified mail as is required by your statute, because we don't have a copy of the green card. And so we're asking that you allow him the courtesy of simply having a hearing, which is allowed under your code of ordinances. Simple request does not require anything special other than your approval to allow him to have his day in court, so to speak, with a hearing.
Thank you, Attorney Kendall. I'm going to turn it back over to the attorney now to tell me what the appropriate motion would be. and a parliamentary inquiry of if the motion is to go ahead and formally deny the license, then you would vote yes to formally deny the license because the appeal was arguably not filed timely. Or if you think that you don't want it, you'd vote no so that he could proceed with his appeal. Am I right, or Duke?
My understanding, and Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, is that this particular license has been denied by this commission already, right?
So when they consider it the first time, by operation of our code, a vote to deny acts as a recommendation to deny, a tabling, and a referral to our office to send the letter out.
All
And
right.
so now we've done that process. And so now what's before the commission is to act on that recommendation to pass the final decision.
All right. So to getting back to the mayor's parliamentary inquiry, if this commission, hearing Mr. Kendall's argument, wished to deny the license because it's untimely, therefore he would not have a hearing, right?
Right.
They would vote yes, assuming that motion is made. If they wish to let the applicant have a hearing, right, they would vote no. Is that correct?
Well, see, this is my question because it's phrased as the issuance of the license, not the hearing. So almost, it seems to me that a different motion to table this until a hearing can be conducted or until they can ascertain whether or not timely notice was made, get the green card, et cetera.
I see. Okay.
So, because I don't want to vote yes or up or down on the license itself.
Right.
Well, I'm trying to understand what you're wanting this commission to consider based on Mr. Kendall's argument that it was untimely.
My understanding is
Motion we
the matter
table. I think we need to table it. We get all the information, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
So we got a motion and second to table this. That's a non-debatable motion. And I suppose then that would give the attorneys time to get together and decide whether or not we can or cannot show that the appeal was not timely filed.
Point of order. Point of order.
Mayor Pro Tem Tim.
Before the commissioner made the motion to table, you were asking for a up or down vote. So you were asking for up and down vote, and then you asked for clarification from the attorney. And so the commissioner then jumps ahead and says motion to table. So are we in order? Because initially you were just asking for information as to we were about to vote yes or no.
My impression, and I'm gonna ask Duke, my impression is that a motion to table is a non-debatable motion, up or down, and you vote to table it.
Yeah, a motion to table adheres to any motion that's on the floor, and it can table any motion without a further discussion. But let me ask a point of clarification, just so, and I'm not trying to overcomplicate this, but we've got the issue of the license itself, and then we've got the issue of whether or not and to what extent it's been timely appealed, correct? Is that correct?
So yeah. My understanding of the item on the agenda is final action on the recommendation to deny the license. Based on the presentation from Mr. Kendall, I think the commissioners have the prerogative to make a motion to refer to a hearing rather than taking final action on the license. But I think that the question to Mayor Pro Tem Tillman's point, the question that the mayor asked was what's the matter on the table, which is a parliamentary question of order, I think supersedes the motion.
Yeah, okay. So here's my recommendation. I get it. Thank you, Michael. My recommendation would be to table this, or my recommendation would be to vote on the motion to table. If you want to table it, we will come back with a information based on Mr. Kendall's presentation with what y'all can vote on in terms of both a hearing as well as anything substantive on the license itself, up or down, whether it be a hearing or whether it be an approval or whatever. But right now you can act on the motion to table.
Okay, so we've
That's what
got,
I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing
Right.
Commissioner Allen say, which is
Yeah, that's exactly right. We need to, we don't have the stuff, information from the post office. We need all that. We need the card that was signed.
And may I ask, which location is this? What's the address of this location?
it's 1803 Pinona. It's at the corner of Pinona and Mercer University Boulevard. And it's the same intersection where Sirius Academy is, although this is not the closest store to Sirius Academy. It's the one across the
I'm
street.
clear. I got you.
Okay. All right, so we got a motion to table. If you want to table this, you vote yes. If you don't want to vote, you vote no. So all in favor of the motion to table signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The motion's it's tabled, and so this will give the attorneys time to talk and figure out what we got, get the green card, et cetera, et cetera. All right, we need to move on. Thank you, Mr. Kendall. You're welcome to stay with us at the public meeting, or you can sign off.
I'd love to, but I got some other things to do.
I understand. Thank you, sir.
All
Okay.
right, thank you.
Got several items of new business. This next one I hope will be real quick and real simple. It's the resolution that you asked us to draft up, asking the GBI not to close the medical examiner's office in Macon. Michael, can you share your screen and pull up what you prepared, or go over it for us?
Be glad to, Mr. Mayor. So this is a resolution requesting the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and the local legislative delegation to take action to ensure the continued operation of the Macon Medical Examiner's Office, authorizing the administration to send a letter regarding the same. And let's see. The whereas provisions recite the facts that the coroner went over last week, that we received a notice letter from the chief medical examiner for the GBI saying that they intended to suspend operations for the Macon Medical Examiner's Office as of September 25th. And that the basis for that suspension was that the current medical examiner is retiring and that they'd been unable to hire a replacement. Coroner Jones informed the commission that they were looking at sending someone down from DeKalb County roughly 3 days a week, but that there's a significant delay already with issuance of death certificates, and that has an effect on bringing closure to the families of those who have lost somebody, and that closing this office will add significant further delays on top of the already existing delays. Therefore, be it resolved that the administrators of the GBI Medical Examiner's Office and the members of the legislative delegation are hereby requested to exercise the full weight and authority of their respective offices to ensure that the Macon Medical Examiner's Office shall not be closed, and that in the event of a short-term reduction or suspension of services is unavoidable, then the commission further requests that the GBI administrators and the members of the legislative delegation exercise the full weight and authority of their offices to ensure that any reduction or interruption in service shall be minimized both in scale and duration, and that upon adoption of this resolution, the clerk of commission shall cause an executed copy of the resolution to be sent to D. Victor Reynolds, director of the GBI, Jonathan Eisenstadt, the chief medical examiner for the GBI, and to each member of the legislative delegation.
Motion to approve, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Second.
Right, so scroll on down, Michael. At your request now, we have added signature lines for everybody. And if you want to get this out of here with your signature on it, you need to come as quickly as you can, no later than tomorrow, and drop by here and sign it. If you want to just call Janice and authorize her to sign for you, you can do that too. And I'm sure she'll be happy to do that. But I think y'all want to try to get this out of here by mail tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, ma'am, Commissioner
Mr.
Lucas.
Mayor, the commissioners from Baldwin County are going to pass a similar resolution because they know they are very, very concerned. And then I talked with the mayor of Toomsboro this morning, and she and her council are also going to introduce and pass a resolution stating just what we are stating. So the word is getting around, and all of these surrounding areas that will be impacted are now getting on board and also asking that their legislators work to try and keep that lab here.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. I got a motion by Allen and a second by Lucas. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
No.
That was Bivens that said no.
Tillman.
Tillman, okay. I'm sorry, one no, Tillman. The ayes have it. That will be item X on our 6 o'clock agenda. So moving on, we've got another amendment that I think Commissioner Lucas, this may be an appropriate time. This next one, item B, is an ordinance to authorize supplemental budget appropriation from fund balance to the Macon-Bibb County Board of Elections in the amount, I think now, $427,000, but I could be wrong. $427,251 of additional funds. Would this be an appropriate time then to talk about your amendment, Commissioner Lucas?
I think maybe Mr. Kaplan would want to talk about the Board of Elections plans, what they've already done.
Very quickly, first of all, I don't have my budget numbers in front of me, but I would like to thank Dr. Moffitt for us just dumping numbers on him and several different numbers at various different times. First, we thought we were going to have to print some things, and we've cut back on that because the state has told us that they're actually going to send some ballots out, so we've been able to cut our printing price. If I'm not mistaken, about 200,000 of this is for additional equipment for 2 new polling locations. I think either Dr. Moffitt or somebody on his staff came up with a great idea of using our recreation centers. Of town our size, only having 1 early polling site is kind of poor. I think Houston County has 3, several counties our size, most counties our size have more than 1. We were planning on putting one at the Theron Ussery Center out on Wimbish and one down at the Elaine Lucas Center down in Central City Park, which will allow us to have 3 early voting sites. And we have to have the equipment for that. And that's what the bulk of the additional cost is. We are, however, applying for several grants that are available throughout the state and the United States to get reimbursed for this money. So that's pretty much it. And that's why there's such a large cost.
Okay. Well, so what we've got now is on the committee amendment, we've increased the amount, as I understand it, from the time that we saw this last Tuesday to now. And the total amount now of additional money is $427,251. So that really is what we're trying to get to. Is there further discussion or kind of get a motion?
Mr. Mayor, can I add something real quick?
Yes, ma'am. That's it.
Thank you, Mike. Do you know, has the Board of Elections discussed what kind of things besides these new polling places that you're going to spend the money on?
Oh yeah, it's pretty detailed in the budget, and Dr. Moffitt, I think, or somebody has that, and it's actually been a moving number and a moving because everything keeps changing on us. We thought the state was going to require us to print all these absentee ballots, and then they decided they were going to print some of them for us, and that's why we had to change our numbers. And it actually, from the original number, it went down, but then it went back up when we were hoping to get the 2 additional polling places, and that caused us to request some additional equipment.
So the equipment, and will that cover personnel costs, because you'll have to have additional personnel?
Yes. No, this will cover personnel costs, printing, everything. And this is I would guess this is a pretty high estimate. We also included in these numbers a runoff in December, which we may or may not have. Okay. But we will have a runoff, in my opinion, in January, because we have 21 people running for a Senate seat, and there's going to be a runoff. So that's in this budget as well. And so we have to plan on that too, so we don't have to come back. Now, if we don't have those 2 runoffs, then that money comes back.
But you make the ultimate decision, the Board of Elections does, of where the money's going to go, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Move to approve, Mr. Mayor.
I've got a motion by Schlesinger, and can I get a second?
Second.
I'm sorry.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem, you got a question, or was that Alan?
He
that
had
the
a
que-
second.
Okay, so we got a second by Mayor Pro Tem. And now Commissioner Allen, you got a question?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, I have heavy indigestion doing voting on Sunday. I mean, could we use another Saturday or could we find another date? I can't go along voting on Sunday.
Well, the nice thing about this, Commissioner Allen, is you don't have to make that decision. That's the Board of Elections.
That's why I asked a minute ago if they make the decision about what.
Yes, we do.
We do.
Right. So you can let them know that you think you don't want them to vote on Sunday. You can do that, but I mean, they make that decision.
Yeah, but we make the decision about the money, so I'm letting the other commissioners know that I don't like the idea of voting on Sunday. I'm just
Okay,
making.
well, that's fine. Okay, that is a further discussion.
I agree with Commissioner Allen, but I think that's going to be up to the Board of Elections to decide that.
Okay, so I got a motion by Schlesinger, second by Tillman to increase the amount to 427,251. All in favor of that amendment to the ordinance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
No.
Okay, got one no, Alan. But the ayes have it, and that is already on the agenda tonight. It's item P when we get to the 6 o'clock meeting with that new number plugged in. Let me move on right quick to item C is an
Mr.
ordinance.
Mayor, weren't you gonna do the resolution that we added that was related to the?
I thought that was it.
No, it's the money. That was the money.
That was the money. So
Right. The other one is a resolution endorsing the Board of Elections actions in increasing satellite voting places and also putting additional drop boxes in, and also the Sunday voting day.
It's in new business for referral to committees, and she was asking.
Well,
to
we
put
moved
on
it.
now, right, to move it
We
up to
moved
now.
it to this agenda.
Right.
So this is a trying to move from.
I was just asking
new.
if we could go ahead and we moved it already.
Yeah, they voted already.
Yeah, item F under new business.
Right, it was on tonight's agenda, 6 o'clock agenda for referral. Right. Right, so what we're asking now is to move it forward to tonight.
We already
They already
moved
voted on
it.
that.
All right, so, right, so.
That's
Ooh,
okay. That's okay.
I'm
We're all
catching up.
there.
I'm catching up. So actually, I hadn't gotten to that yet,
Okay.
but I'm getting there.
I'm getting confused now because we just voted on allowing the money for the things you just mentioned would be in this other one, because Mike Kaplan said this is about.
That's right.
Places. So why do we have to vote on anything else? They make that decision.
Exactly what y'all just said.
Hold on. It's kind of recommending. I understand that this is a resolution that Commissioner Lucas has had prepared that was on the agenda for tonight for referral to committee, but she's asking that it be moved forward. We've agreed to add it, so we'll get to it momentarily. We're not there yet. We've got 2 or 3 more things to do and 15 minutes left to do it. So
Yeah.
mute your microphones if you are not talking, please. I'm getting feedback through. So the next item on our agenda is a very short amendment to an ordinance that we passed last week from Mayor Pro Tem Tillman about using county rights of way for the sale of goods. I'm going to turn this over to Michael because at that meeting, Commissioner Tillman indicated he was okay with that change that somebody wanted made about locations of carts and this, that, other being either on the sidewalk or off the sidewalk. And Michael wanted to go over with us the revision that he's made.
Right. Thank you, Mayor. I just want to confirm that this is consistent with the intent. So in section 3, you'll recall, related to allowing people to set up in county rights of way for purpose of selling foods or food items or goods. And the request was made to change right here where it says public sidewalks, where my cursor is, it had said county rights of way. I changed that to public sidewalks, but I wanted to check with y'all because one of the regulations in here is that they have to leave 5 feet of clearing space for the public sidewalk. And so I don't know that we have many sidewalks that allow 5 feet of clearing space if the person sets up on the sidewalk. And so I just want to make sure that that's, if y'all want me to change the provision, also that requires that 5 foot strip of sidewalk to remain. Otherwise, this could significantly narrow the portion of county sidewalk that's available to be used by people.
Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Bivens, go ahead.
Yeah, that seems it could be a problem. If it's possible to put something in that says you can set up on the sidewalk if you can leave the 5 feet, that should take care of the rule and keep from having congestion.
I don't see I can do that.
Well, but see, if you can't leave 5 feet, it means you can't set up in that spot.
Well, the alternative would have been to set up like in the grass right next to the sidewalk, for example. That's how it was written previously, and that's what I want to clarify about that.
How much right of way is there beyond the sidewalk for the city? How much right of way is it? 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet usually?
It varies from road to road. We have some that are 50 feet from center line, and we have some that are right up to the curb, and then it's private property. It just varies from street to street.
I mean, I've ridden around Macon since we talked about this, and the sidewalks, the public sidewalks we have are not 5 feet wide. So if you put something there, you're going to be completely blocking it, with the exception of downtown Macon sidewalk.
Right. And that's what I wanted to confirm with y'all.
Yeah, if I can volunteer something here, Commissioner Bivens, as written, this would only allow people to be on public sidewalks. And if you could not be on public sidewalks without the 5 feet clearance, you can't be there. You can't be in that location anyway. So I think what Michael's asking is, does the commission want to do that, or does the commission want to go back to the right of way, which I think it was originally written that people could be on a right of way, which would give you a little bit more flexibility about putting out cards. It's up to what the commission wants to do.
It's a policy question. I'm not trying to advocate one way or another.
No, I hear you.
I get a little concerned about the property owners there not knowing where the right of way ends, and they'll come out and say you're not supposed to be. They'll think it's their property, because that's what people do with their yards when you're trying to do some kind of work in there. There's a right of way difference, as you said, depending on where you are. So what if the property owner comes up and says to the people on the grass, you can't be on my property, which actually
property owners have nothing to do with our right of way. We own the right of way.
I know
so that's
that.
the difference.
I know that.
I'm interested in hearing from Commissioner Jones, who actually added the amendment, and I'm open with the language that Commissioner Bivens has said, and as opposed to going back to the original sidewalks issue.
Good. I've been raising my hand. Can I speak, Mayor?
Yes, sir. Please, Commissioner Jones.
We don't seem to be going by that method. Everybody's just jumping in. My question is, what is the width of a typical sidewalk? Does Michael know that?
I don't know that there's a standard. I think we have some that are fairly narrow, just maybe 3 feet or so, but I think we have some that are, wider, but I don't, that would be probably a traffic engineering question to answer, to be honest. I don't know that there's a standard that we follow.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a standard. And I don't know that 5 feet, you're talking about the depth of the sidewalk. They would be 5 feet away from somebody walking by.
Right, to leave room for like a wheelchair to get by.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't take 5 feet to do that, but I think potentially my concern to start with was I think you've got a potential problem with someone setting up in someone's yard. And even though, yes, that is the right of way, you've got every mailbox in this whole county that's at the street is in the right of way.
Yeah.
And yet that's a personal property item. So you don't want people setting up, if it was in a commercial thoroughfare and it was safe. I was concerned about personal property rights, but even more so, I was concerned about safety for the person setting up and traffic going by. So that was my concern.
Well, what we've got now, Michael has drafted a proposed amendment that would say sidewalk rather than right of way. I suppose one option would be to vote down that amendment and go back to the original right of way, not sidewalk. And that just means you've got to determine where the right of way line is.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, if I
Mayor Pro
may,
Tem. Yeah,
the
yes, sir, Mayor Pro Tem.
original resolution was for right of way.
Correct.
And so if there's an issue with the way it's being prescribed, I don't think anybody want to sell goods that's going to be close to the street or traffic anyway. You want to set up back off our right of way. The whole idea was just to give people permission where our right of ways are. And so so I think that's the whole idea. So
right. So I think then, Mayor Pro Tem, if you want to go back to the original right-of-way language, then you would vote no on this amended version.
I'm fine either way, but I do prefer the right-of-way. But you know,
well then,
or the is that the amendment? Mallory, you want to remove the amendment, or you want to stay with the amendment?
Well, I want to ask a question on, and I'm not looking at it because it was from last week, but does it?
Actually, it was from 2 weeks ago. I sent it to you 2 weeks ago.
Okay, 2 weeks ago. I don't have it in front of me. I have it somewhere else. But so did it restrict from being in front of a personal residence? Did it say that? Did it have language to that effect in there?
You know, with all due respect, I don't think somebody's gonna go set up a hot dog stand in front of somebody's doorway or driveway or resident without asking them permission. So I mean, all this technical stuff, I mean, if you support it, you support it. At this point, if you don't, because I mean, you're really just being too technical at this point.
No, I'm not being too technical. That's like saying, well, why in the world would anybody throw out all that trash alongside the road? Who would do that? Who would roll down the window and just throw it out like the whole earth is one big trash dump? They do it every day.
Right. Well,
I've seen them do it in the Kroger parking lot. And I went up and knocked on her window and said, lady, do you know your kid just dropped out something that's making my beautiful city look bad? And to her credit, she got on to them.
Good. So the question is, what do we want to do? I need a motion either to deny this amendment and go back to the right-of-way language.
Motion to deny the amendment. Motion to do exactly that. Deny the amendment and keep it as right-of-way.
That was by Watkins and second by Lucas. So all in favor of denying the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed to denying it, and that is you want the amendment, say yes.
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 The ayes have it. So I think we're gonna deny the amendment. It's on the agenda tonight, but we'll go back to the original version for right of way. The next item on pre-commission is a resolution to authorize the mayor to execute a contract between Macon-Bibb County and Warren Associates for Freedom Park. That had to be amended by legal this week, and I'm not sure why. Michael, why did we revise the resolution to do phase 3 of Freedom Park after it came out of committee?
Sure. So y'all may recall the caption had read that it was the funds were coming out of the 2018 SPLOST bond proceeds. But as I mentioned last week, the SPLOST bond proceeds have been exhausted. And so we just changed the funding source to say 2018 SPLOST revenues, and we added the line item, Parks and Recreation Freedom Park line item, to show where it's coming out of the SPLOST timeline. So well, that's all, just to say that it's from current SPLOST incomes.
Hot diggity dog. This ought to be a slam dunk. Now, can I get a motion to approve that technical change?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and second by Wynn and Schlesinger. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Okay, the ayes have it. So we got that amendment made, and that'll be on our agenda tonight in its amended form. Now we've got to the additional items. Rachel, can you share your screen and pull up the cost estimate? We had an item come through committee. Somebody's mic's open. It came through committee to take money out of the levee, landfill closure and levee maintenance fund that the Macon Water Authority to improve the grade crossing, and we set up $100,000 and that passed out of committee. Well, we got an estimate now from Don Carter, and Don Carter has said that to do that work is going to cost $166,000, not $100,000. So the amendment actually takes it up to 175 because we don't want to be short. So it's up to 175 rather than up to 100. That's the amendment and the revision that we need for this Macon Water Authority and for improvements to the grade crossing. Can I get a motion to the amendment here to change the amount to 175?
So moved.
Got a motion by Schlesinger. Second.
Second.
By Lucas. Then further discussion.
Here, I had a quick. Who gave the original approval on the amount? Who from Macon-Bibb gave the approval on the original amount, and then who gave approval for the additional amount? Who said that it's okay, that's a legitimate increase?
Tony Rojas looked at it and estimated $100,000. So that's where we got the $100,000 figure. However, when you get the engineers involved and the railroad out there looking at it is what they will and won't accept as far as crossings are concerned, the cost escalated. So this is Don Carter Engineering Group that the Water Authority uses that's given us this updated estimate, more accurate estimate. And
okay,
we
just wondered.
Right, and we added the difference between 166 and 175 just so we wouldn't have to come back again for nickels and dimes. But it's up to 175, so hopefully we'll get it for 166 or less. You'll notice there's already a contingency figure in there, so hopefully we'll get it for a lot less than this. But this is to ensure we don't have to come back again, and come up a little short. So we're asking for 175, and you're the final approval. So I got a motion by Schlesinger, second by Lucas to do the 175. Is there further discussion?
Mr. Mayor. Yes,
Michael?
Someone had asked last week, and so I checked with Tony, the balance of this account is $1,119,000 and some change. So there's, and this is money that they're paying into that can only be used for maintenance and repair of the levee and the landfill. So, there is the money in there. It's available if the commission wants to do this.
Good. Okay, we've got a motion and second. All in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it, and that'll be on the agenda for amendment. The attorney asked that we table item Q, which is the DBE at Macon Downtown Airport, so that they can incorporate a DBE plan for Middle Georgia Regional and Macon Downtown, hopefully for the same amount of money, because one DBE plan may serve to do for both airports. But they've asked that we table this tonight so they'll have time to work through with the FAA and the consultant GMC and Blake Roy with TBI and get it all done right. So can I get a motion to table item Q by Allen?
Second.
By Jones. So further discussion? All in favor of tabling item Q for tonight, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. So that'll be tabled when we get to it tonight. Okay, item G now is voting. So Commissioner Lucas, let me turn this over to you because we voted to talk about it, but that's about all we've done. Talk about your resolution, please, ma'am, and why you want to do it tonight at pre-commission.
Okay, thank you. Yes, it was my understanding that the Board of Elections, and I don't know whether Mike Kaplan is still the chair of the Board of Elections, is still on or not. But it's my understanding the Board of Elections will be meeting on Thursday, and they will be taking action on the items that they've been really working hard on. Macon-Bibb has lagged behind in a lot of cases, areas that are smaller than ours in providing every opportunity for its citizens to exercise their right to vote. And I know we all have that right, but as many opportunities as we can possibly afford our citizens, we need to do that. So this resolution of our commission is to give support to the Board of Elections in their actions, and the actions that they are taking now are, first of all, they're identifying additional satellite voting places. That is, for the 21 days of early voting, there will be 3 instead of 1 location for voting. There will be 3, one in North Macon, one in the Carolyn Creighton Park, and then the one on Pinehurst Avenue. And I think the Board of Elections has plans to identify another one for the South Bibb. I don't know, maybe they worked really, really hard at it. The other thing is there are a number of organizations around the state that are working with local boards of elections, and they're providing grants to them to place additional drop boxes for the placement, secured with a camera, drop boxes for people to place their absentee ballots. And so this resolution expresses support for the Board of Elections in doing that. And thirdly, it also expresses support for Sunday, October 25th, as another voting day. The last time we had Sunday voting, it was very, very successful. I know we were not operating in the time of COVID, but however, everybody doesn't go to the same places on Sunday. So I think every opportunity that we can give our citizens to vote, I think we ought to do it. And so this just expresses support for those things that the Board of Elections is doing. So that's it. And I hope we can get approval for it.
Okay, well, so the appropriate motion at this point, I think, it is to move the item from new business to be referred to item Y under old business, so we can discuss and vote on it later tonight at the 6 o'clock meeting. I think that would be the appropriate motion.
Mr. Mayor, I think we moved it already. The motion would be to recommend approval, I think we moved.
I could be wrong, but what we did was to vote to add this to this agenda for discussion. We did. And so would we vote up and down on it right now, and then?
Okay, whatever. I wanted to add one final thing. The Georgia Women that we're all familiar with, which is a very progressive group of very, very active women who are advocates for the mask ordinances and have been advocates for us in a lot of different cases, are very much advocates for our approval of this resolution.
Okay, so all in favor of the resolution would vote yes. If you're opposed to the resolution, you vote no. Is there further discussion?
Yes.
Oh boy, Commissioner Wynn first, then Allen.
Oh,
all right. So if we vote yes for this, we are trying to tell the Board of Elections how we want them, what we want them to do. And I don't think that we can do that. I don't think we should do that. Secondly, 21 days of early voting at additional voting sites. We're adding what, 3 or 4 more across the city and convenient locations. You can currently, or pretty soon you can request your absentee ballot, which are you can already do that. There is nobody that even has to leave their home to vote. Nobody has to leave their home to vote. Just make a call, get the absentee ballot sent to you, and just mail it back in. So there's 21 days, there's a Saturday vote, and then there's the election day. I do not see why a Sunday vote is needed for the extra cost and time involved in that. I think you have ample time for everybody that really wants to vote, has ample time to get their ballot in before election day or on election day. You've got different sites now. I support that fully. I support the drop boxes fully. I support Saturday voting fully. I just do not support a Sunday vote.
Commissioner Allen?
I agree with Ms. Nguyen. The bottom line is that, like I said, indigestion Sunday. If they would drop Sunday, if the election board would drop Sunday, I'm all for it, but not with Sunday being in there.
Right.
Hang on a
All
second.
right.
If I may.
Commissioner Nguyen?
The election board hasn't voted on this yet. So this is what we're trying to recommend to them what they should vote on. So I don't think that we can tell them what to do.
No, the constructive language, Commissioner Nguyen, is that Macon-Bibb County supports the Macon-Bibb County Board of Elections identification of new this, that, or the other drop boxes, et cetera. So it's that's the operative word. We support them in doing that. We're not telling them what to do, is the way I read this.
All right.
But I'm understanding Commissioner Jones is waving his hand.
If I may.
He's not. All right, and Commissioner Jones and then Commissioner Watkins. Jones first, then Watkins.
Yes, sir. I don't think we have quite as many days as was enumerated, but we do have a lot of days. I'm thinking it's 17 or 18, but plenty of days to vote. Also, my understanding is the national and Georgia law says even if you work from that you have to be allowed to be off for an hour. I remember talking about Ben Hubbard. You have to be able to get off and vote even if you worked all the way till 7 p.m. that you have to be allowed to get off and go vote. So I'm all for more locations. I'm all for that. It should be as convenient as possible. I want every registered legal voter to vote and express their opinion, but I'm against Sunday voting.
All right. Commissioner Watkins, I think you're last.
So I know that this isn't our first year doing Sunday or Saturday voting. This is, I guess, keeping up a tradition that we've done many years now, and I'm definitely in support of it. But my question was for the sponsor. I noticed that you're mentioning Sunday voting. Are Saturday vote days already identified? Do we have those?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And what is that, October 24th?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Nguyen.
Commissioner Nguyen. This is my last comment. If anybody can tell me why there are not ample opportunities for people to vote without Sunday, then I'll be happy to listen. But there is no reason, especially with absentee ballots, why you can't vote from home.
Okay.
We will let you know on October 26th.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. And again, please direct your comments to the chair.
That's the day after the Sunday voting.
Don't carry on sidebar conversations. Address your comments to the chair, and please wait to be recognized before you speak, please. I'm just trying to run a meeting. That's all I'm trying to do at this point.
I know.
Is there further discussion on this? If not, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
No.
I feel reasonably confident that the ayes have it. So I'm going to say that they do, and it'll be on the agenda, but we got to vote again tonight at the 6 o'clock meeting. Huh?
We'll do a roll call tonight then.
Now,
On
then.
a roll call
I don't
now.
care when you do it. I
Well,
wanna know.
then, let's do it then. I mean, I'm gonna say that's enough to get it on the agenda for tonight, for final action tonight, but there'll be another vote on it tonight, and we'll do a roll call vote at that point in time. I'm trying to get to the last couple of items here, but believe it or not, and I really hate to do this, I need to go into executive session for the point of talking about personnel and property, acquisition of property. Those two items, personnel issues and acquisition of property. I need to go into executive session for that, and it'll take us. I got a motion by Allen, second by
Second.
Schlesinger. Second by Schlesinger. All in favor of going into executive session, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. All right, the ayes have it. So we're in executive session. Unfortunately, that means we're gonna have to put people in the waiting room or whatever, but leave the mayor-elect and the commissioners-elect, let them come into executive session with us, please, ma'am, but everybody else into the waiting room, and let me know when we're no longer broadcasting on Facebook Live. And
Absolutely. So I'm stopping the Facebook live stream now.